Hey, it's Ben again. Yesterday I told you that we were going to talk about the other son, the older brother. Well, let's continue with Jesus' story. So there's a party going on because the younger brother had come home and the father decided to forgive him. The older brother was where you might expect him to be. He was, the Bible tells us, out in the field. As he comes home from work that day, he hears dancing and he hears music. Well, the servant explains that his younger brother had come home, and his dad, instead of getting angry with him, showed him an amazing amount of compassion and love, like we talked about yesterday. Well, we see and hear that the older brother was angry. He was angry that the younger brother got a party. The father didn't even kill a goat for me, and yet this younger brother comes home and Dad throws a big old party for him. His feeling was that this wasn't fair. It's not fair that the father would throw a party for the younger brother who had gone through so much and who had, in essence, rejected the father at one time. And as the father even pleaded with the older brother to come enjoy the party, the older brother refused. Jesus wanted the Pharisees to see themselves in the older brother and how they were upset with Jesus with taking time to minister and to be a blessing to the sinners and tax collectors, that they should, instead of feeling like this isn't fair, to recognize how wonderful it is that God the Father, through Jesus, would show love to even the worst of sinners. The other thing that the Pharisees weren't seeing is that they too, at one time, had been a recipient of God's grace if they were a believer. In fact, the truth is, every single one of us have been recipients of God's grace. Even if you've been a Christian for a really long time, we've all been a mess at one time. And the knowledge that what we have and that the blessings that we receive are only a product of what God has done for us, and not because we have earned or deserved them, brings an amazing amount of humility to us. It's so easy to be judgmental. But when we recognize that we also have been recipients of God's grace no less than anybody else, the judgmental aspect softens, and we begin to recognize and see ourselves in others. We begin to see and recognize that it is such a blessing for others to receive that same grace and love that we've received. So today, as we consider the older brother, my prayer is that we recognize that the blessings we receive, the love that God has given to us, is only because we are His children and not because we have done anything to deserve it, and that we then might show that same love to those around us. Next time, we're going to wrap up by taking a look at what God throws parties for. So hit subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow. And this week, we're going to unpack one of the greatest stories ever told, the story of the lost son.